Hey, hi everyone, and welcome to today's session. Today is going to be a fun one. So basically, I've liked poker my whole life, and I also like AI a lot. And last week I was thinking to myself, why don't I create my own multiplayer AI poker game? So you can play poker with your friends or you can play poker with the AI here. And so I decided to vibe code, and this was done with Codex in about a week. And I'm very happy with the progress and the results. So let's take a look at how this works. So first you have to create your own account. So maybe in this case, I'll just call this account, um, win all or something like that. I mean, like, it doesn't really matter what you call your account. So the password, I'll just set a very simple password and you can just create account and this will pop up a re-enter password. And then you can just register the account. So once you have the account already, it goes into a player profile. So this actually stores your player details in a Redis database. Later, I can share more about how this is done. So over here, our in-game name, we can call it win all, mail. And then for the picture here, you can just go to Google and you can just choose a picture of, like, I don't know. Um, let's see poker chips. Maybe you want to have a picture of poker chips instead of your face or something. You can just take a picture here and like maybe here you just go here, right click, copy image address. So I did not let you like put your own picture and upload here because it might take up too much of the resources on this. Yeah, so you can have over here, you can say like I win all my games. Yeah, something like that. Like that doesn't really matter what you put here. They click back and then you can see this is your profile, and this is everything set up. All right, so what we can do now is we can just play a table. We can just go to one of the tables here. So this is the table called Rookie Bay 1, which is okay for like when you first start, this is the only table you can play. And so I have designed this game such that there are 5 levels of AI, and as you progress through the tables, the AI gets harder and harder. So yeah, if any of y'all want to join, just let me know. If not, I'll just demonstrate with the AI first. So this is basic to superstar, which is the hardest difficulty. So here I have this hand, 7 clubs, 9 spades. I'm just going to call. Okay, it's not a great hand. So you can see that the AI actually it thinks within a second, but I delayed it to about 1 to 2 seconds so that it's easier for people to follow. If not, it can be too fast. Yeah. If not, the whole game with all the AI decisions can be easily within 2 seconds. So here I have hit nothing, so I can just 4, 8. Yeah, I don't even have a straight draw. 4, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So I think this one is a fold. Yeah. So you can see the AI can actually play with themselves. If you don't want to play this game at all, the AI can play, all 6 AI can play. So this is the game itself. You can see that now someone went all in. Yep. So let's see who wins. So oh, you see, he had a queen, so I knew shouldn't have bet that one. Yeah. So the aim of this game is you can look at FKQ here. The aim is to reach 1 billion chips. Okay, that's a very difficult thing actually because the higher level you go, you can only play the hardest level difficulty, which has access to more simulations. So they are more like can simulate more of the future outcomes. So why is my hand about the same as just now? Yeah, I want a hand that is a bit more advanced, like ace or something. Yeah. Okay. So I think we just call for fun. Yeah. So I think in this game, like what you can do is I've created a mode, when you are new and you just want to have the fun of winning, you can check this thing here called I'm feeling lucky. So this is a special mode for this. So if your chips are less than 2,000 overall, including your this chips and your bankroll, you can activate this I'm feeling lucky, and all the cards you get later will help to improve your hand. So I'm just going to show you how this works. So of course, we don't want this to be for the future as well. Like for the later stages, this is only for the first part where, I can show you how it works. So now 7-9 is an absolutely horrible hand, and he has ace queen. And you see, we got out straight because I activated. I'm feeling lucky. The next few cards come out will massively help to improve your hand if it can improve. If not, you are still going to lose anyway. Yep. So let's play one last game before I go into the code execution. You all have any questions for me? I'm just going to all in this one because you have the benefit of luck. Who needs skill when you have luck, right? Look at that, three of a kind ace. So yeah, you can play around with this. Yeah, just log in. Um, yeah, make yourself happy with winning until 2,000 chips. Yeah, let's do one last game. All right, this is a pair. So just going all in again. All right, let's see. See, quite a good hand. We have a full house already. Well done. Okay, so I think that's it. We can leave our seat after this. So you can see after you leave your seat, the game still plays on. Because the AI can still play with each other, and you can play not only one hand, you can actually have the AI play and yourself. You can also play many different rooms at the same time. Okay, here this is a bug. I need to change this. Like sometimes it doesn't show, but you can see that this actually already invited. Yep. So the AI can actually play with themselves, and you can play in multiple rooms as well. So okay, this one is a display error bug, which I'll go and solve later. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't like show the live action, but you can see. Let me just load the room again. Maybe it will help. Okay, not sure why this is happening, but yeah, I resolved this in the mobile version. Yeah, so you can also play on your phone. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's working now. Yeah. So there's some socket connection issue here. I have to go and resolve it later. You can play more than one room at a time. You can observe more than one room at a time. You can just click on the room here. And then we have a global leaderboard here, which you can see that these are like a lot of them are trial accounts. I have 5 or 6 friends already playing this game. And yeah, the aim is to have fun and see whether you can reach the top, which is 1 billion chips. It's going to take a while, but it's quite fun actually. Yeah. So you can also configure your profile after that. You can change your password here by adding a new password. And then you can basically change your description and your images, choose who you want to accept the table invite from, right? Other people can invite you to tables as well. Then once you have friends, right, you can actually chat with your friends. So let me just log out here. I'll just show you how this is done. Like once you have people, you can actually add friend. Okay, and then let's go back to what's my account? Win all, right? Yeah. Yeah. So basically you can have a friend invite here, and then you can accept the friend invite. Okay, then you can over here and you can message them. You can say, hello, how are you? Okay, and your friend at the other side. Okay, let's just log out again. A friend can actually see your message here, and you can say, yeah. So these are stuff that like this is in-game chat messaging. It's like WhatsApp like that. You can see that we have chats with other people as well. Yeah. So this is meant to be a bit social. And even in the table here, okay, I opened 2 of the windows. Even in the table here, you can also chat with people. You can say great hand or something like that. Yeah. So this is a in-game live chat here. Okay, so that's all for the demonstration of this game. So overall, how do you find it?
It's really cool. I like how functional it is. You have a whole ecosystem going. I don't think you left anything out.
Yeah. If you want, you can try it later. Yeah, you can even play live also. But let me just go to what I came here for today, which is the how this was done. So I'm gonna stop my share now. I'm going to show you. Okay, but before I start my share, maybe I'll just show you this thing here. So basically, this was hosted on my own VPS called a virtual private server, which means you can loan other people's computer to run the server. Because this is a multiplayer online game, the server needs to run all the time. So if you don't want your laptop to burn, so the alternative is to use someone else to host it. And I did consider free providers like Vercel at first, but because this game requires the, the socket both ways, basically you need to take in information from people and people need to download information from the server. So that is not really supported in Vercel. So you have to host it somewhere that allows you to freely configure your Node.js socket. So I actually don't know all these terms. This was all suggested to me by Codex, and I basically became a software engineer over the last week. I went to set up my own VPS, so you can go and search what's a VPS. This is the one I use. So it's not bad actually. Yep. I Although I played with like 5, 6 people, it only used like 10% of the capacity. I think it can scale to 1,000 people, no problem. So for the database wise, uh, I use this. Let me share with you another one. So, so I basically use this Redis. I'm not sure if you heard of Redis. Redis is like a production database, and this is basically you can store data here, typically in the form of a JSON. And you can see that this is the data that we have stored for the game. So this updated live. So we have a user John. What's the password in the sorted form, which is in the hash form, so that like when people attack the database, they also don't know what your password is. Yeah. So we also have like the list of friends that the person has who have sent a friend request and so on. And yeah, we can have all the different users here. Let's just go and find our new user just now. I created one user called win all. Let's see whether we have it. So yeah, you can see that this is the win all. Oops. Yeah, so you can see that over here, the database is updated live. And when you create an account, it all be stored here. And this is separate from the hosting platform itself. This is stored in a cloud database, which is the Redis cloud. Yeah, I can use other databases as well, but I wanted a database that is more like away from the hosting server, because if the server crashes or anything, at least my data is still stored somewhere else. And this is backed up weekly. So I mean, if I pay extra, it can be backed up daily, but I think weekly is fine. So this is not too bad, because you would be able to like separate some risks. Yeah. So this is something that I asked the AI to code to use Redis. At first, the memory was stored locally in the JSON file locally. So I said that, hey, use an external database, and within 1 hour, the Redis cloud, everything was set up. Okay, because they just asked me to copy and paste my Redis URL, and they set up everything in the code. So I was quite impressed, honestly, because usually in my company, I'm not the one handling all this database and stuff. But this really it is really so convenient. Like I literally had no expertise in all this. They just tell me the steps. Okay, go and create an account, put the URL over here, and then everything is done. Yeah, so and it has even backwards compatibility with the local JSON file as well. So this is cool. And then we also can store like other stuff like what's the table states. So you can see over here we have the different states of the table. Like if let's say I stop my server right now and I reset it, the hands that are being played, who is at which position, what chips are being bet, all this would already be stored. So when I do a server backup, people play the games halfway, they can still continue. Yeah, so this is a functionality. Again, I asked Codex to help me code. I say make the tables state recorded. Yeah, so these are some of the stuff that are done so that the game can function well. And now let's go straight to the code. So I'm going to share with you my Visual Studio code. So this is the code itself. So the code itself is a Node.js project. I did not ask it to do Node.js. I just say create me a web app. Oh, yeah. And then after that, I asked it to make it work for mobile as well. So what I did was basically, let's just run through what I did from the start. So this is the starting prompt here. So I actually been playing poker online on this site called Replay Poker, and this is the picture of how it looks like. So I actually quite like this site, and then I use this as a template to try to mimic. All right. So create me a poker app that's a taxer limit, no limit, taxed hoem no limit poker. The other players should be AI that are playing either game theory optimal or random. So this was the prompt for the AI, and they created the AI. Okay, in the end, the AI has different skill levels, also done by the AI created by AI skill levels and everything. Okay, each turn, give the percentage chance of the player winning. Okay, so at first I had this percentage chance thing. I took it out in the end because it was potentially confusing because people may be wondering what that percentage is. All right. So there's also a checkbox called I'm lucky that can be dealt cards that improve the position. And play on a browser. Multiplayer mode should be also possible. So they created this whole thing within like 10 minutes. So the first app was working. It just some actions weren't really right, like the call and the fold, it wasn't really done properly. So I had to, do some adjustments, and then do some auto buy-in and then make it easy with a half pot, full pot. I took out the half pot, full pot buttons in the end because it took up too much space, and we want to have a more concise way of doing it. So you can see that Codex did it, and they did it pretty fast. And then after that, the difficulty was that the layout, the layout, they don't really follow the picture exactly. The layout was in shambles. The chips were everywhere, up, down, left, right. Um, like it didn't align to what I wanted. And the surprising thing was coding the logic for this app is easy peasy for the LLMs. Getting them to design the UI is the challenging part because they don't follow the UI. So in the end, what I had to do is I had to ask it to shift like 50% of the player bubble width up, height up, 30% of the player width to the left. Then sometimes it shift wrongly, then I ask it to do the opposite. So it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to get the UI up because the UI itself, the AI is not able. Let me just turn off this because it's so the AI itself is not really able to like understand the dimensions well or like replicate the dimensions based on a figure. And that's because the AI's understanding of the image is not that great. Okay, AI's understanding of images, if you give it an image, what it will do is likely it will just look at the broad features of that image, but it won't know exactly like how many cm at the top, where are the chips located. This will just be converted into something like, okay, there are 6 players in the table, cards are in the center, chips are to the player's left or right. Those are very vague and generic instructions. And then what turned out is that the chips appeared everywhere, the cards appeared everywhere. The whole the whole table interface was so hard to code because the layout was a big challenge. It took me like 2, 3 days to sort out the layout. So yeah, that was the difficult part of the coding. After that, you can see that, like you see, this is how it looked like at the beginning. All right, can you see the image by the way? Give me a thumbs up if you can see it. Are you able to see the image that I'm loading in Codec? Okay, so this was like the initial table image. It was honestly not that great. It was it was a horrible UI. The logic was working, the UI was horrible. You can see the chips not even stacked up, no numbers. It's like really just colors like that. And the player bubble is so huge. And like the chips block the players, they block the players' names and everything. And I feel like this whole thing it could be massively improved in terms of a vibe coding experience. Like, if I just give it a picture, it can replicate the picture exactly. I would save 3 days of vibe coding time. Yeah, this coding for the UI is horrible. Um, I think next time if I were to do something like that, I would probably want to interface with some UI navigator that you can load the UI, you can just drag the position of the UI and then you update the CSS file directly. That will be better. I mean, but right now I figured out how to prompt it. If you want to prompt UI, you need to prompt in terms of AI language. You need to say shift 30% width down or 30% height down, 50% width down. Why? Because in the CSS file, you can see that in the CSS file, where's my CSS file? In the CSS file, you can see that like everything here is okay, maybe we have such chips. Yeah, you can see over here there's some percentage. We have such width or something. Yeah, so you can see over here there's a width, there's a height and everything. So what essentially the AI sees is very different from what you see. Okay, you see a UI. AI sees code. So if you want to talk to the AI, you need to understand some of these terms of the code, like what's the height, what's the width. Z index is like who is more priority in terms of rendering the image. So I don't specifically say Z index when I talk to the AI. I just say that give it higher priority, and it understands because priority is Z index. Yeah. So these are some of the terms that if you know the respective features inside your code, which I obviously don't because I don't code HTML, JavaScript, or CSS. I code Python. So everything here is like quite new to me. But because I know programming, so I kind of understand what this is. Like once you're a programmer, everything looks the same. Like this really looks like code to me. So I'm okay with it. I can understand it. Yeah. But if you want to communicate better with the AI, you need to use some terms that the AI would understand. And unfortunately, understanding images is something that leaves much to be desired. Yeah, I hope the future AIs will be much better in terms of position sensing and so on. Maybe they can train another vision transformer that has more sensitivity to dimensions and coordinates, and that will help a lot. Okay, but right now, nope. You still have to do some prompting. Okay, so I asked it to add some chip systems to add the chip numbers, remove the black background. Honestly, this black background is such a simple thing to remove. It took me 10 prompts to remove it, I think. Yeah, that's how difficult it is to code the UI. So for Codex, I think it's very great for the underlying logic, the multiplayer logic, and so on. It coded effortlessly. But UI is an issue. Like it really lacks the understanding for the dimensions and so on. But in terms of comparing codecs between Cloud Code and anti-gravity, I still like codecs better. Okay, why? Okay, because Cloud Code tends to take very long to get your answer out, and they might change more things than you ask them to. So I don't really like that. Codex is a bit more targeted, so I like the response. And the last one is anti-gravity. Anti-gravity comes with its own UI browser navigator. I think I talked about it in my anti-gravity video. Like it has a browser that you can load the browser with your web, test it out, do some testing and so on. But I myself found it lacking because sometimes they say test pass, but obviously it failed. But they don't have the vision recognition that it failed. Sometimes it just says, okay, test pass, then they just let it out and it worked horribly. So essentially the human still needs to be in the loop, like I still need to do the testing. So I decided that, instead of waiting half an hour for Google to test it out, I must well do it myself. So when I did this vibe coding, my role was just giving the broad directions to the worker, which is in this case Codex, and I test out the implementation. I literally just I did like this npm start, and then I can run my server here. And when I run the server, I test it locally, make sure that the UI is okay. I test through the functions. I log in 3 to 4 windows to test out multiplayer to see whether it works. So I simulated all the players and so on. I simulated the chat interface. So I did all this testing. So my role is the UI tester and the logic tester. And basically, I had a fun time testing it. Yeah. And the role of Codex is to code it out. So I didn't really touch a single line of code for this. Initially, I tried to adjust the CSS myself, but it proved too hard to adjust because I don't really have knowledge of all this. So this app was 100% pipe coded with me touching almost no lines of code other than a few lines of the CSS. So I honestly didn't expect it. Like, who would have expected that you could do a multiplayer online app with pipe coding? Like last year, I wouldn't have expected it. Like it has improved so much this year that I thought it's worth to give it a shot. I wasn't disappointed. I was actually very impressed with the end result. Right? So let me just talk some more about um the process of me creating this app so that you are aware of how it's done. I think you can do it yourself as well. It's not difficult. Yeah, the difficult part is the last part. I'll share more about the last part. The last part is difficult. The last part is hosting your own server and the domain name and everything. Yeah, that's the tough part. But if not, the vibe coding can get you all the way there. Like almost all the way there. During the deployment part, you still have to do yourself. Okay, so after that, you know, um, we get the player to do. Okay, wait. Matt asks, how is concurrency handled by the system? So this is all using socket operations, and basically every time a player inputs an action, it gets sent to the server, and then the server will also push notifications to all players whenever a new action is done, so that it renders on the screen itself. At least that's how I understand it. So it's all asynchronous socket operations. So I think it's able to handle multiplayer in that way because like the server will just handle what information to push to each player. Yeah, and it also take the information from each player. So for more details, I think you have to look at the index. You see over here, there's different sockets here. And again, because I'm not a JavaScript coder, I have no idea what's the use of these sockets, but I can understand that a socket takes and receives information. Yeah, so at least that's my understanding of a socket. So yeah, it does all this. I didn't code a single line for this, but I looked through and it doesn't look malicious, so I'm okay with it. I mean, if over there's a code that says, like download Bitcoin or something, that would be very suspicious. But so far looks all okay. So I think knowing a bit of programming helps because, after the vibe coding is done, you do want to look through and make sure that you're not uploading a virus. Yeah, so I think that's the part that comes. And you know, asking Codex to say whether there's a virus or not, or whether there's malicious things in there or not, may not be the best idea because sometimes you know they might not know. Like in fact, I also might not know, but you know, at least having a second pair of eyes, which is yourself to look at it is good. So yeah, concurrency is done using sockets. I hope that answers your question, Matt. Yep. So yeah, let's continue with the thing here. So like I also made the AI player take about 1 to 2 seconds and show the final hand combination. So all this was done by them. The logic of how to code this like straight full house and so on. It's probably just a few if else statements. I didn't really look too much in detail because it works. All right. When the hand evolve shows the player's combination. Yep. So this is the part that's a bit difficult because you know, as I said, the UI management is horrible. So like getting them to put the text at the right place is really tough. Yeah. So show the AI's expected value. At first I showed this, it was complicated, so I removed it. Yeah, so this is how it looked like in the end. Not in the end, like after a few adjustments, you see the black background has been removed, but there's still a white border. So I had to tell it, take out the white border as well. And you see the chips are now nicely stacked, so it's not bad. Okay. So, so I asked it to do more, and then what's next? Add the chat menu for system messages. So I asked it to. So I did quite a lot of things. I mean, this was a 1 week project. So I asked it to chat menu to talk. So I just copied some example from Replay Poker, and I just asked it to try to mimic this. So yeah, it did quite a good job mimicking it. It looked exactly the same. So yeah, after that, what I asked it to do is like create a chat menu. So over here is a bit different from Replay Poker. I wanted to put the player's actions as well. So over here they also put like player caught something, player folded, and so on. And you can see in the actual in the actual interface, later I'll show the actual interface again. You can toggle on and off player actions. So you can see whether people caught or folded or something. Or you can see like this kind of lines where it's only just the bot state, right? So it managed to do all this. And then like I asked it to create a lobby as well. So again, I just took a snapshot from Replay Poker. So thanks a lot, Replay Poker, for giving me the template. All right. So I just took a snapshot, say create a lobby. And then it created almost exactly like the same. I was quite impressed that it looked so tables. Yes, no problem recreating tables. But UI with elements that are hovering around one another, nope, no, it's not that great. But tables are great. Yeah, there's no effort at all creating this. This was like almost immediately done. All right. Then after that, I asked it to, you know, do a auto top up like 200 chips every 5 minutes when someone is bankrupt. This encourage people to keep playing, but I don't want people to all in all the way at the rookie level because it spoils the fun of the game. I want people to feel that the chips have some value. So every 5 minutes buy-in. Um, then I want to create a login page. So over here, you can see that uh, after user login, creates their username and profile, password stored into a database. So over here, the online database, they just put a JSON locally. So I had to change this to Redis later. I'll show you how I did it. Um, I wanted to be a bit more ambitious, do an authentication using Google and Facebook. It turned out that the Google authentication didn't really work out too well. Maybe because it's local or what, but I took it out because I think it can be, if it doesn't work, then, you know, just use the username and password is enough. So they did the Google thing, but I took it out in the end. So somehow after coding out again, the background became black. So I had to ask it to redo the background again. Yep. So, yep. So after that, what did I do? Create more table names, create a global leaderboard. I did those quite well. Then you see the coins here still have the white background. So I mean the white border, so I asked it to replace. But can you see a massive improvement between the initial design and this design? Yeah, it's like through prompting you get the images better and better. So all this was done in like 1 day, by the way. So this is day one of coding. It wasn't like over so many days. It's the refinement that took a while. All right. So I wanted it to do a timer, so I gave it the replay poker version with the green bar. It coded it wrongly. It coded the timer in the middle of the name and so on, but I was okay with it. But in the end, it managed to put the timer at the bottom. So I like that version. So make it such that you can only leave once the Once the hand is done, remove the question mark at the back of the cards. Because at first you put question mark there, it looked quite ugly. So I asked you to take it out. Um, do a friends thing, and friends will be displayed with a special friend symbol. In the end, I took out the friend symbol because it took up too much. I just made the friend color become blue color if it's a friend playing with you. All right. So have the player profile image be shown. So I wanted it to show a player profile. So it has that circle there, and yeah, it turned out to be quite nice. Okay, so I wanted the AI to come in also. So like whenever the human plays, a human plays, and there's no one playing, within 30 seconds, an AI companion will come in and play. Right? And I want the AI companion to leave gracefully also when the human leaves, because I don't want just the AI to play with no humans, right? Yeah, so the AI is there just to entertain us. Yeah. So after the player leave, I wanted the AI to leave the table one by one every 1 minute. Then I changed my mind. Then I said like, okay, let them play for 10 minutes and leave after 10 minutes. Okay, because like it would be quite weird for AI to leave one by one. Like sometimes people want to see the game, then after 10 minutes, then all the AI will leave together. So that's how the logic, my thought process, I'm just sharing with you my thought process for this. So yeah, so there's some these are some minor details about the profile URL and so on. When there's no more actions, this is a game logic UI issue. Sometimes after people all in, and then in poker, you can only all in back because you have not enough chips. Sometimes they still let you take actions like raise, check, and so on. Like so, this was not nice because when everyone all in together, you want the climax. Both people open their cards, see who wins. But this version of the game, you still need to check, check, check. Although everyone all in already, so it's a bit weird. So I asked it to do something, and it worked. It worked really fine. So I just gave it the feedback. It implemented successfully. Allow user to invite players. Okay, successful as well. The delay, add some delay between hands because initially the hands immediately after the hand ended, next hand straight away starts. And that's very disorienting for humans. So I made the game so that it's pleasant for myself, and I hope it's pleasant for you as well when you play it. Yeah, there's a lot of thoughts, processes behind how the delay is done. Because if there's no delay, the hand can be over in 2 seconds. Yeah, so that's too fast. Like you won't even know what cards are shown. Immediately the game is over. Yeah, that's how fast the AI thinks. The AI thinks in less than 1 second for each AI, less than I don't know, a few milliseconds, I guess. Yeah, it only just needs to do Monte Carlo simulations for 10,000 plus hands, so it's not very long. Yeah. So yeah, only show the action for the player for that particular round. Okay, so these are some UI enhancements. I'm just gonna skip this, skip, then have some buy-in for the room to have a buy-in slider to show you how much you can buy in. And yeah, this I think it turned out to look like this after a while. You can see there's this progress bar here, the green color one, which you saw in the first part of the video. The green color bar is at the bottom. So this was how it looked like at first. Um, then we can continue and do it. See when all in, open up both hands so that you can see. At first, there's no such action. When all in, the hands are still closed, and at the end of it, not everyone open their hands also. So I have to do something like that. Yeah. So there's other stuff like this. I handled the chat bar interface when your window is closed and open. If the window is a bit longer, the chat bar is shown. If the window is a bit less, then hide the chat bar and so on. Okay, and do some other minor adjustments, like when you join back in the table that you have won, you must bring back all your chips, something like that. Yeah. So yeah, reset 5 seconds after the thing ends. Yeah, some other stuff like these are all refinements. Okay, friend page refinement, um, invite user refinement, um, yeah, make the chips look at the center of the table refinement. So this is how the message inbox look like at the start. You see on the left here, the name here, like the name Jaslyn, which is my wife, um, took up the entire row, I mean the entire column, and that's very ugly. If you know UI layout design, it should be just a small row. You shouldn't have the whole thing coming out. So it looked really ugly, and I asked the AI, fix it one row per user, make it scrollable. Okay, so I did not code anything to change the UI. I just simply said that, work like a charm, it worked very nicely, okay? Add in the chips button to top up the chips and so on. Okay, so the raise make it must be we set the mean raise. All these are very technical stuff. It's just UI enhancements. I'm just going to skip more to go straight away to the important. Then ask it to create an FAQ tab to tell people who am I, how to win what the AI is, and so on. So the FAQ was created by AI, but I gave it the directions to do it. So over here, this is how it looked like at the end. And you can see over here, I face an issue with the UI again. The chips appeared to the left and it got like cut off near, and it blocked the cuts for this person, Chloe. So initially, I wanted the chips for the left players to be on the right of the player, chips on the right players to be on the left of the player, the one at the top at the bottom, and the one at the bottom be at the top. So all the chips go towards the center of the table. But it was very hard to code it. So in the end, I just unified it everything at the bottom. Yeah, then I brought the cards to the top so that the chips don't block it. So I did some manual intervention so that the game looks nicer. Yeah. So yeah, you can see that this UI thing really took me 3 days. So yeah, that was the hardest thing. So like I asked it to appear on the right of the cards. It didn't understand it. Yeah. So this is the limitation of vibe coding. Yeah. Really I don't know whether it will work better for Claude, but I suspect that for AI wise who have no idea how their code would render the image output, um, yeah, it's just a guess. Like I ask you to I give you some code, ask you to use this code to create something. You can only at most do a guess of what will come out. Yeah, unless you have a simulator to access and see how the image turns out, which anti-gravity could do. But I don't trust anti-gravity as well because it has given me wrong info for the testing. They say test successful. Then when I went to play my game, it didn't work. So yeah, it's not there yet for vibe coding for that. Yeah, so these are more hand action refinements. Let's go to the database part. Let's see whether I can show you the database part. Dun, 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 dun. I honestly forgot which chat I use it to update align chips, show hand X repair website for. Is it this one? Here. So after a while, I decided that I'm happy with the core gameplay. Let's make it work with online database like Redis. So I say use Redis for database, make the code production ready. So it's really very, very generic instructions. Because to be honest, I have no idea what's the meaning of production ready. Yeah. And my company, my engineers do it for me. So like I'm I'm just hoping the AI would understand because my expertise is not in all this software stuff. My expertise is in coding the AI, is in like designing games, I guess. I design quite a lot of games. So I know how the game should feel like. But in order to make it production ready, that's not my expertise. Yeah. So I just asked it to make it production ready. It just in 10 minutes or less, I think this was in 5 minutes. It it just shifted the whole database to let it use Redis URL. Okay, in addition to just having my local JSON. So there's still a JSON here. Oh, did I delete the JSON? Oh yeah, I deleted the JSON already. But there's a JSON that basically stores the account information and so on. So yeah, so basically it created all this and then like I wanted it to do some like registration form and so on. So all this was done very nicely. Create me the environment defaults and so on. So yeah, I'm not going to scroll down for the rest because it might contain sensitive information about my IP address and so on. So yeah, that was how it was done. And yeah, then after that, I asked it for help to like, I show you maybe, is it here? Yeah, so I asked it whether I can host it on Vercel with Redis, then they tell me cannot because Vercel functions are duration limited. And if you want to do serverless, it also has a limitation. Then after that, I asked like, okay, yep, they gave me a few options. Then I went to explore a few. And then in the end, I settled with Hostinger. And then they said, okay, Hostinger is great. You can use it. Okay, then I basically don't know how to host it. So I just took a snapshot of the Hostinger webpage like that and say, how about this website plans? And then tell me web plans are not suitable because web cloud hosting only allows outgoing WebSocket connections. So then I say, okay, which do I need the persistent? Gameplay wise, you still need persistent because you need both the players and the server to interact. So I can't use a simple web plan like this, which is really cheap by the way, like $3.99 per month. I honestly didn't mind. Unlimited website some more, this one. But unfortunately for this game, it needs more than that. So basically, I asked it to, like see whether I can just use the incoming socket connections instead of outgoing. Can I ping every second to get the action? And the answer is yes, but it will be very jittery. So in order to make it very smooth, I decided that I'll have the outgoing connections as well. Um, so then I copy and paste some of the plans here, and then I ask it which plan should I use for 1,000 users, and they tell me KVM2 is the best, and yeah, so I just followed the advice for this. I mean, if let's say this game kicks off really well, and people want to play, I hope more people play because I want to make this an ecosystem for humans and AIs to interact in games. Poker is just one game. I intend to have much more in the future. Because knowing that I can do this, a lot of ideas I have in my head can finally be realized. Yeah. So yeah, that's quite cool. And yeah, so I I then asked it to, like in my VPS, what OS should I install? Okay, should I install Ubuntu to 5.10? So these are all very technical stuff, which honestly I have no idea how to do. And they tell me use the LTS, long-term support. Any OS panel needed. Yeah, just plain will do. I don't need OS panel because they give me everything in code. And then later on down there, they gave me the code exactly what I need to do to open my host at the VPS server, do a do a GitHub pull, and then after that start the PM2, which is some service, and Nginx, which is like help to redirect the URL. Correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not an expert on this, but this basically helps to run the server and direct the URL and so on. And all this code basically was just copy and paste and put in the host, and and then there we have it. We have the game running, and yeah. So I think that's all I am going to share because if I scroll down somewhere, you might see my sensitive data. So I think that's about it. Yeah. How do you find it? Yeah, yeah. Feel free to ask questions at anything now. Yeah, we have 15 minutes.
So the entire project from start to finish and using the codex to run all of it, how much did it cost in tokens and everything, all in all?
Oh, so I use GPT Plus plan, and I basically use the limit from 100% to 6% in 1 week. So given that now Codex is having a promotion that they double the rate limits, so I would say I use double the weekly quota for a GPT Plus plan, which is the $20 a month plan. Yeah, I don't intend to go to the Pro plan, which is 200 USD a month. That's a bit too much. If anything, I'll just code slower. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah, so I think the cost wise, I'm just using the package plan from ChatGPT. Yeah, you can also use Cloud Code. I think Cloud Code might work similarly. I just like Codex more because Codex tends to be more directed and tends to be much faster in execution than both Cloud Code and Gemini and the anti-gravity. I use all of them, so I like Codex the best. Yeah, my personal preference.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone else is available to ask in when they feel like it. So back to the database section. I'm not really a coder myself either. I'm like okayish with Python. I'm more of like data analyst, data retrieval. Is there a reason the AI opted for like a JSON data, or did you tell it to use the
Oh no, I
JSON?
didn't. I just say use a database to store info.
Okay.
I actually wanted it to go online database immediately because I wanted the data to persist outside of the project. So
Mm,
that at least I know about this like external database thing because like I've worked in companies before and that's exactly what they use, like cloud storage. So
yeah.
yeah, I wanted to do something like that. But it gave me a local JSON at first. I didn't complain because honestly I don't know how to set up the cloud storage. So after that, I told it explicitly use Redis and the code was up in 10 minutes. Yeah, honestly, that was that was the moment I was like, think, wow, AI rocks. Because if I had to analyze the Redis docs myself, come up with how to ping the network, how to download,
Right.
yeah, that would take me essentially a few days, like 3 to 4 days maybe, to get it working. Okay, maybe one day. I mean, I'm sure Redis has documentation on it. Yeah, it's just so fast and so and it works off the shelf, that it really felt like magic. Yeah. So I'm very like I think vibe coding has a lot of merit because especially for stuff that people have done years and years worth of doing, like using Redis database, maybe like stuff like um creating a website. Vibe coding is super good at all this, except the UI dimensions and that how to scale the things. That's horrible, man. That's horrible. I also spent another 1 day, which is yesterday, redoing the entire UI to fit on mobile. And yeah, I can show you how I did it. Let me just show the let me just share my Chrome again. Yeah, so I downloaded a package that enables me to view the thing in a phone. So you can see that, this is how it looks like in a phone. So I'll go and fix this later, but like you can see this how it looks like on a phone You can change. Can you all see the screen by the way?
Yeah, you're visible.
Yeah, you can change the phone model, and yeah, basically use it to experiment to see how the game would look like in phone. You can see that the chips on the phone are a little different from the ones in the okay, so I think this one is the old UI. The new UI, the chips are at the side. But you can see the phone one, I had to shrink the player bubble. I had to put the chips like to the side of the player instead of to the bottom because the width is more than the height for a phone. Yeah, so this is how it looked like. And then you can even see stuff like you can even simulate this on the phone and you can rotate the phone and so on. Yeah, so at first I downloaded the whole thing on my phone, tried it out. Yeah, it took very long. Then I was wondering, can I straight away just do my experimentation on the computer? I went to search, and then essentially I found this plugin called Mobile Simulator. It's very good. Like there's another way to do it, which is you go right click, inspect, and then you go and do some elements and choose the model here, change the simulator position layout. Can't remember what's the way to do it, but you can just search like how to get a phone view on Chrome. Yeah, then they can tell you how to do the stuff. Honestly, I try to do this very, very irritating. So, this app settles it. Yeah, this is great. Yeah, I recommend this plugin, Mobile Simulator. Very, very good. Yep. So yeah, so that's how I tested on the phone. Yeah, so you can see that I can test out to see whether, oh, is my leaderboard still able to show when it's landscape mode? Is my inbox? So I had to change the layout for this inbox as well because initially the inbox for this mode, the name was at the top, the chat was at the bottom, and the chat couldn't be seen. So I asked it to use the left-right manner. So this is how it looked like. And like if you don't do the phone view, you can see the difference. Oh, and now it's left right also for this. Yeah, but initially it compressed so much I can't even see my chat box. The FAQ, I make sure that at least can see. So yeah, these are some of the stuff that I did to optimize for phone gameplay as well because I want people to play this game on their laptops, on their phones. I want it to be like very easily accessible and fun. Yeah. So yeah, I did some effort to make it work on the phone as well. And honestly, it didn't take too much effort. I mean, I just say that like make the menu bars more concise and can fit on the screen for a mobile phone. Make sure that the cards can be seen for landscape mode. At first, I tried all this, but the AI didn't understand what does it mean to make it seen for mobile. So I ended up had to micro the AI a bit. I tell Codex, shift the chips 50% player bubble width to the left. Yeah, so I did like that. It took me 3 4 hours, and in the end the layout was optimized like that. And like if you go to the table, yeah, stuff like this you can. Okay, so this one I think is the old version, but if you use this, you can see that like it's able to render the stuff and so on. So this is something that honestly wasn't easy. I see this is the new layout now, the chips on the left. So it wasn't easy because the layout is different from how it looked like on the desktop. So I can show you how it looks like on the desktop. On the desktop, the chips are at the bottom because there's more height. But on the mobile phone, I put on the left because there's more width. Yeah, so these are some design considerations. Last time when I design games in Unity, I typically just use the mobile dimensions and then I just force the desktop to take on the mobile dimensions so that I don't have to program so much. But with vibe coding, sure you can program both sides because it's changing is as easy as saying shift the menu bar like 10% height upwards. Yeah, as easy as that, you can change. And I recommend doing stuff like that to micromanage the UI because if you just say make it nice, it's not going to work. Yeah, it's at least not for Codex. I don't know whether Claude can do it. Yeah, but this is something that like yeah, this is how it looked like. So this is something that I was quite impressed that it could do things like this because like last time I used Unity to code my game. Took me a month to code out some card game and like it I spent a few days, like maybe 4 or 5 days to just get it to work on mobile and for desktop. This game, I just spent one day and it worked for that and it worked for mobile. Yeah, so that's the power of vibe coding. It really simplifies game dev processes. In fact, you want to create your own web app, like I don't know, fitness tracker or like alarm clock, I'm sure you can use this vibe coding tools like Codex to vibe code your desired app. Like if you want an app to take in a photo, translate it to a certain language, and output that photo again, you don't have to wait for people to code it for you. You can just vibe code it. Maybe plug in your own LM API key to do the visual part. But even that, as your API key, you just need to put in the .env. The LM can do everything for you because they can search the web, find out the API needed for the LM, and do LM operations for you. So all these are not difficult with vibe coding. Okay, so I think I detracted from the question. What was the question again that got me to this? I can't remember.
A little detracted. I was just asking why it opted for JSON as opposed to like a relational SQL database like NoSQL or sorry, not NoSQL, like an Apache or something. Um, but you said you already started with JSON, so it kind of went off of your local files and then started building out like a JSON database, and it ended up ready. But I mean, I guess SQL is fine for data storage, more so like account information.
Mm.
Um, I would imagine something like JSON that's like NoSQL, I would imagine is probably faster for game state and yeah, and like room state. I don't know. I'm just analyzing.
Mm. You mean for SQL database, right? Yeah, you can use
Right,
SQL
right.
as well. Yeah. So if you have a SQL database, you can use Redis for SQL as well. And yeah, I think it can be converted to SQL. Probably as simple as instead of .json, use the SQL database. And I'm quite sure that Codex can get it done for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter though. You're just hosting on the server. You can use whatever database
Yeah.
format.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think essentially it really empowers you. This Codex thing really empowers you because you are able to, or rather not just Codex, like probably anti-gravity and also for what else? What's the other one? Cloud Code. Yeah. So all this empowers you because if you are really very good as a software engineer, you can literally say, okay, I want to use this stack backend. Like this is what I want to use. I want to use Node.js, I want to use Redis, I want to use I don't know what else you want to use. Like basically you want to use certain things you already know and you already know what kind of specifications you want to use. You can just put that in your prompt, be as specific as possible. And the AI will just search the web for that particular version that you want to use and then output code for you. So essentially you don't have to type out all the lines step by yourself. It's like offloading it to a junior analyst or junior coder. I would say a bit more senior because it's able to do stuff that I'm not able to do as well. So I would say that the level has increased over the years for AI coding. So I'm quite comfortable for them to spin up entire databases just by vibe coding. Yeah, I mean, this project was honestly an experiment. I didn't expect to get so far. I thought maybe a single player poker would be the end goal. But once they could do the poker interface like that, I was like, that's just, I mean, I prompted multiplayer, but my expectation was maybe it would just be a single player. Yeah, because I don't know how good the vibe coding technology is. It got all the way there. It got a multiplayer game with friends and inbox chat messages. Honestly, quite, 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 quite impressive. Like, yeah, you can even like For example, if let's say I want to make friends with my new friend, like I don't know, Win All was my friend. Yeah, we're friends already. Maybe Robert, yeah, you can add friend and all this. Like so on his account, he will see that someone has linked up with him, made friends, and you can chat with people and all this. This is like a online gaming server already. I mean, this is an online gaming server, and all this is done just by me in 1 week of vibe coding. Yeah, so I really think it's quite impressive. Yeah, I really think, and it will only get better. So yeah, I recommend that you all try it out. Yeah, vibe coding is really fun. Yeah, but there's also some negative sides of vibe coding as well. I can share with you. Like you might be too addicted to it. Like sometimes you just want things to be done, then you stick to your computer and keep vibe coding and stuff. That you might end up being glued to your computer too much, and that's an issue I realized I faced last week because I was just too interested to get my game out. I stayed up until about 3 a.m. Usually I try to sleep before midnight, but I stayed up until 3 a.m. for the last 5 days. Yesterday, no. Yesterday, because the whole thing is done, so I could sleep in peace. Yeah. So there's some danger here in that you become too engrossed and interested to getting what you want, your vision out in real life, that you might suffer physically. Yeah. I think for people who use multiple agents that spin off like five, six agents running in parallel, they might face this issue as well because like the whole world is about agents and your whole mind space is about agents. They might become a bit like living zombies because you literally get glued to the computer and I think that's not healthy. So I do quite like a rate limit for coding agents so that after you hit the rate limit, maybe you are forced to go and take a walk outdoors, do something else, talk to people. Yep. So that's a danger I can see with the technology becoming too good is that your psychological space might be affected, and I think that's dangerous. Yeah, at least for me, when I did this vibe coding thing, I decided that the next project that I do or continuation of this project, I wouldn't want to be doing coding so often. Yeah, because it really can drain you. Yeah, although you're not doing the coding, you are doing the testing, you are doing the iterating. Yeah, I mean it's really a compression of what used to take 3 4 months into 3 4 days, and it takes a toll on you actually. Yeah, because you being the tester, you need to yeah you need to sometimes step away from this coding and like take a break because it's so addictive to just keep going and going and going, and the response comes back in 5 minutes, so it's very fast. Yeah, so this is something that you need to watch out for when you're doing vibe coding is not to be too engrossed. Yeah, I mean the fact that I say this is a limitation is a great thing because it handles everything else quite nicely except the UI. Yeah. So Matt asks, is the source available? Yeah, so actually for this I actually hosted it on my GitHub, but it's private. I don't know whether I want to make it public because over there it can contain like how the server is run and so on. I don't know if you're interested. I can send it to you privately. I don't know whether I want to make this like public yet. Yeah. So maybe in a while, like maybe after 6 months, I can release it to the public. Yeah. Because right now I still want to. Like my worry is that if I release it to the public, someone might take this and then host it themselves. Yeah, this took me quite a lot of effort to create. Yeah, but I'm okay to share with you. If you want, I can share. Like if you just want to learn it, like how it's done, no problem. Yeah, but I want to open source something, but probably not this one. Uh, because this one I intend to expand it even more. So yeah, but I'm happy to share with you the code if you want to see. Yeah. Yeah. Now, I actually want to make this whole thing into an ecosystem where we can have people uploading their own AI to play this game, or maybe other games as well. And we have an AI leaderboard. We also have a human leaderboard, and then maybe you can play with the top ranked AIs if you want to. Yeah, just to test your skill as a human player. Yep. So personally, I feel like the AI that the AI has created is challenging enough. Like I find it can be difficult to win without the right cards because the AI they don't bluff too much. They value bet quite often, and Sometimes they even bluff you by raising when you call when they had nothing. It's very hard to tell because like most of the time they have something, but it's only sometimes they have nothing. So if you call, you might lose everything. So it's challenging enough with the current AI. Do try it out. Let me know. Yeah. I'm very interested to see people play against the AI, play with other people here. And yeah, I want this to like this is my first project that I'm vibe coding for a multiplayer game. And yeah, I just want it to be enjoyed by people. Yeah. I don't really intend to make money from this. Yeah, this will just be an experimental test bed for other projects. But there's so much more that I want to do in here. So you can look forward to more updates for this. And I'm also intending to like whoever can get this goal, like 1 billion chips. I want to invite them on YouTube to explain like how they did it because it will be a very interesting session to see how you win the AI. It's not easy, you know. Try it out. It's not easy because in order to reach that amount of chips, you need to win consistently, and that's something that is difficult in a variance-based game like poker. Yeah, so that is it'll be fun. It'll be fun. So now the current leaderboard is like currently me with 4,000 chips. I'm sure you can easily exceed it if you try it now. So yeah, do try it out. Let me know how you feel. Yep. Yep. Okay, so yeah, that's more or less it for today. Do you have anything else you want to ask? Okay, if not, do try out the game. Yeah, this is the address, poker.johncloud, johnlabs.cloud. You can just sign in with any username and password, as long as the username is not taken. Password, just try to use any non-important password. Although I hashed the system, I think yeah, I don't want to share sensitive passwords in this because it's a vibe coded database after all. Like so, just do what you need to like enjoy the game without worrying too much about security, right? Because you don't have to pay any money for this. You just play it. The whole server is hosted by me, so yeah, just enjoy it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the state of vibe coding. Yeah, this is something that I've never done before. I'm not lying when I say I never really touched Redis or sockets or like hosting. I don't really do all this. So this is something new for me as well. Okay, so yeah, that's all for today. Yeah, thanks for coming and see ya.